All right, so have you ever felt like you're working hard but not really getting ahead financially?
Yeah, it's a question a lot of us ask.
It really is. And today, we're going to tackle that head on.
Oh, yeah.
We're going
Blah.
deep on this idea of hard work and wealth,
Love it.
using some insights from entrepreneur Alex Hormozi.
Oh, yeah, I know Hormozi.
You familiar with him?
Yeah, big fan.
We're going to be looking specifically at his YouTube video called How to Get So Rich. You question the meaning of making money.
Catchy title.
Right.
Yeah, definitely grabs you.
And what I think is so interesting about Hormozi is he really challenges those traditional narratives we often hear about, like, hustle harder, longer hours, work yourself to the bone.
Right, like that's the key to success.
But he's built a 9-figure net worth before even hitting 35.
So he's obviously doing something right.
Yeah, so he's clearly onto something.
Clearly.
And I think a lot of us, especially those of us who maybe aren't, doing manual labor all day, we can relate to this feeling of like putting in the effort but not seeing that massive financial payoff.
And yeah, like you're spinning your wheels.
Exactly.
Not going anywhere.
And one of the first things that Hormozi does in this video is actually redefine what work even means.
Right.
Like, he argues that measuring work just by hours put in,
Yeah.
especially for knowledge-based jobs,
Knowledge workers. Yeah.
it's totally flawed.
Totally.
So I'm curious, like, how does he measure it then? What's the alternative?
He has this really simple formula, actually.
Yeah.
Work equals outputs, and
Yeah.
then outputs equal volume multiplied by leverage.
So it's not about how much you're doing,
Right.
but the impact of what you're doing.
Exactly.
So you could be doing a ton of stuff that's keeping you busy, but not actually moving the needle.
Busy work.
Right.
You've all been there.
So it's about finding those high-impact activities.
And then amplifying them.
Okay, so for example, like Elon Musk.
Yeah. Good example.
He's achieving insane outputs, but I highly doubt he's pulling all-nighters every night.
Probably not.
Right.
No.
So it's because he's mastered this idea of leverage.
Exactly.
Like, he's not building every Tesla himself.
Right.
He's built systems that do it for him.
Yeah. He's not on the factory floor
No.
screwing things together.
And what's so interesting is, like, this idea of leverage isn't even new.
No, not at all.
Right.
Think of historical figures.
Yeah.
Like Warren Buffett.
Oh, yeah. Perfect example.
He built his fortune by making smart investments
Right.
in acquisitions, not by, being in the weeds of every single company he owns.
Not micromanaging.
Yeah. He prioritizes leverage over just constant activity.
So I guess the question for us is, like, how do we find those levers in our own jobs or businesses?
Yeah, it's a big question, right?
It is a big question, and I think that's what we're going to unpack a little bit today.
Right.
So if we buy into this idea of work,
Hormozi's definition.
yeah, how do we actually, what are those levers?
Yeah. What are those levers for us?
Where can we find them?
Well, I think it depends a lot on what you do.
Of course.
Obviously.
Yeah, your specific job,
Right.
your industry.
But I think there's some universal things.
Right.
Like, for instance, automating those tasks that you do over and over.
Oh, yeah.
Repetitive tasks.
Like that.
Or delegating, effectively.
Delegating, yeah.
Yeah, like what can you get off your plate
That someone else could do.
that someone else could do better, maybe even.
Maybe even better.
Or even just, those systems that streamline your workflow.
Yeah, like the little things that add up,
Right, exactly.
but take up a lot of your mental energy.
Yeah.
So it's like, how can we free up that space?
To focus on the high impact stuff.
Okay, so that's step one.
Redefine work, find leverage.
Yeah. But then Hormozi goes on to talk about something he calls uninformed optimism.
Ooh, yeah.
And I think this is where a lot of us might get tripped up.
Right. This is so common.
Yeah,
You see
and
this all the time.
I know I've definitely fallen into this trap.
Especially, I think, entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
they're prone to this.
It's like that initial excitement when you stumble across a new opportunity.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like everything seems full of potential.
All the possibilities.
You're like, oh, I should drop everything I'm doing and chase this new thing.
The shiny object syndrome.
Yeah.
It's like a disease.
I know, and sometimes it works out right.
Sometimes
But I feel like more often than not,
you end up right back where you started.
yeah, it's like that feeling when you see a new restaurant opening.
Oh, yeah. I love trying new restaurants.
Me too,
Mhm.
but it's like you're convinced it's going to be amazing.
It's going to be the best thing ever.
Yeah, even though you have your tried, true favorite spot.
Your old standbys.
Yeah, and sometimes it is great,
Yeah.
but sometimes it's a total flop.
Sometimes it's a disaster.
And you're like, ugh, I wish I'd just gone to my favorite place.
Yeah, why did I do this?
And Hormozi uses this example of his buddy who was in construction. And This guy was doing like roofing and general contracting
Oh.
and trying to flip houses
All at the same time?
all at the same time.
That's a lot.
And of course, he was spread so thin that he wasn't really making progress in any of his ventures.
Makes sense.
Right.
Yeah, spread too thin.
And I think we all know that type.
Oh, yeah, we all know that person.
Always starting new projects,
Yeah.
but never quite finishing the ones they've already got going.
Right, yeah. Always chasing the next shiny object.
But is Hormozi saying that we should never try anything new?
No, I don't think he's saying that.
Yeah.
I think his point is that constantly chasing the next big thing can actually hold you back
Okay.
from achieving real success.
So it's about finding that balance
Right.
between being open to new opportunities,
Yeah.
but also having the discipline to stay focused
Yeah, I think he's saying it's more valuable to focus on deepening your expertise.
in one area.
Yeah, one area.
And that's kind of interesting because it seems like the opposite of what a lot of, hustle culture gurus preach.
Yeah, they're always saying diversify and have a side hustle.
Yeah, like be an entrepreneur, always be grinding.
It's a different perspective, for sure.
It is.
I mean, if you look at, say, the Forbes list of self-made women,
Okay.
you'll notice a lot of them built their wealth in traditional industries.
That's interesting.
Not by jumping from one trendy thing to the next.
Okay.
They focused, put in the work, and they became experts in their chosen fields.
So it's about really mastering something.
Yeah, and going deep.
Okay, so let's say you've identified an area you want to focus on,
Okay.
but inevitably you're going to hit those roadblocks
Right.
or things are going to get tough
Yeah.
because no business or career is just smooth sailing all the time.
It's going to be bumpy.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely. So what happens then?
Well, that's where Hormozi's principle of better comes in.
Better.
Yeah.
Okay.
He says consistently improving what you already do is far more effective than constantly seeking out new ventures.
So instead of feeling like you need to reinvent the wheel every time you hit a snag, you just find ways to make your existing wheel roll a bit smoother.
Exactly. It's about focusing on incremental progress
Okay.
rather than radical change.
Incremental versus radical.
Yeah.
And this is where the concept of compounding comes in,
Compounding. Yeah.
which I think a lot of us are familiar with from, finance.
Yeah.
But it applies to skill development and business growth too.
Absolutely.
So small, consistent improvements made over time
Yeah.
can lead to dramatic results.
Can lead to huge results.
Okay, so what are some practical ways that we can implement this better approach? Because I think a lot of us can get stuck in that mindset of like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, it's easy to get complacent
Because,
when things are going well.
yeah.
But Hormozi, he gives a few concrete examples in this video.
Okay, I'm curious.
He talks about split testing your marketing campaigns, like to see what resonates best with your audience.
So trying different things.
Yeah, trying different things and seeing what sticks.
Interesting.
He also suggests role-playing sales calls
Okay.
to refine your pitch and build confidence.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I like that.
And he emphasizes constantly refining your offers
Yeah.
to better meet the needs of your customers.
So always looking for ways to improve.
Yeah, even when things are going well.
Even when things are going well.
Don't get complacent.
Yeah.
Always strive to be a little bit better.
So it's about embracing those unsexy parts of business.
The behind-the-scenes stuff.
Yeah, the stuff that most people don't see.
Right.
But that actually makes the biggest difference in the long run.
Yeah, like the grunt work.
It's like the difference between, going viral with a single social media post
Oh, yeah.
and building a loyal following over time
Right.
by consistently creating valuable content.
Yeah. One might give you a quick burst of attention,
Yeah.
but the other creates real lasting impact.
Okay, so we're talking about consistency,
Consistency is key.
finding leverage,
Yes.
and then as you start to see success
Yeah.
and things really start to take off,
Okay.
Hormozi introduces another challenge.
Uh-oh, what's that?
He calls it the woman in the red dress.
Okay. I'm intrigued. Tell me more about this woman in the red dress.
Well, that's where we'll pick up in the next part of our deep dive.
I can't wait.
We're going to explore those distractions that can derail us
Yeah.
even when we're on the right track.
I'm ready. All right, so those distractions, those women in the red dress.
Yeah.
As we were saying, the more successful you get,
Uh.
the more these things seem to pop up, right?
It's like you can't escape them.
Right.
They're everywhere.
Yeah, and it's almost like a test.
Oh, a test.
Yeah, like of your
To
commitment.
your goals.
Yeah.
Like, are you going to get seduced by the shiny new thing? Or are you going to stay laser focused on the path you've chosen?
Right. Are you going to stay true to yourself?
Yeah.
To your vision?
And I love how Hormozi talks about actually dealing with this.
Yeah, what does he say?
Yeah. He suggests that you need to act as if you're already the person who can resist those temptations.
Like fake it till you make it, but for your willpower.
Yeah, in a way.
I like that.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like you're consciously exposing yourself to those distractions.
Okay.
And then practicing saying no.
Interesting.
And he connects this to the idea of like exposure therapy.
Oh, like in psychology.
Yeah, which is a technique used to treat like phobias and anxieties.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
So instead of trying to avoid those women in the red dress altogether,
You're actually like confronting them head on.
yeah, you're putting yourself in situations
Wow.
where you have to face them and make a conscious choice to walk away
Each time.
each time.
Yeah.
And I think the idea is that by doing that, you're strengthening your mental muscles.
Like building your resistance.
Yeah, and building that ability to resist those temptations in the future.
So you're training your brain to focus on the long game,
Exactly.
not get sidetracked by every little thing.
And this ties back to the principle of better,
Right. Being better.
which we talked about earlier.
Yeah. Constantly improving.
So it's about mastering those fundamentals
Fundamentals. Yeah.
and getting really good at what you do,
Being the best.
even if it means doing some of those like unsexy tasks
Right. The grunt work,
Yeah.
the stuff nobody wants to do.
that most people shy away from.
Yeah. But that's where the real magic happens.
So he talks about things like really refining your sales scripts,
Oh, yeah.
obsessively analyzing customer feedback.
Getting in the weeds.
Yeah, and constantly tweaking your products or services to meet those needs.
Yeah. Always improving.
But then how do you know you're on the right track?
Good question.
Right.
How do you not get stuck?
Yeah, how do you avoid getting stuck in a rut just doing the same thing over and over again, even if it's not working?
Right.
Like sometimes you need to like pivot.
You gotta know when to change course.
So how do you do that?
Well, that's where he introduces this idea of the self-coaching model.
The self-coaching model.
Yeah. Interesting. And it's all about asking yourself the tough questions.
The tough questions.
As if you were like advising someone else.
Oh, that's interesting because I find that like I'm really good at giving advice to my friends.
Yeah, me too.
Right.
It's so much easier.
Like when they're facing a challenge, I can be super objective.
Yeah, you can see it clearly.
And give them you know what I think is good advice?
Yeah.
But when it comes to my own problems,
It's so much harder
so much harder to see clearly.
to be objective.
Yeah.
And that's why I think the self-coaching thing is so powerful.
So it's like having a built-in mentor.
A mentor in your head.
Yeah, who knows you better than anyone else.
Knows all your secrets.
And who's not afraid to tell you the hard truth.
Yeah, give you the tough love.
I like that.
And one of the key questions he suggests you ask yourself is,
Yeah.
what would I do if I knew I couldn't fail?
Ooh. I like that one.
good one, right?
Yeah, because it kind of removes all the fear
Kicks away the fear.
and the self-doubt
Yeah.
from the equation.
Yeah.
And it lets you think bigger and bolder.
Dream big. Yeah,
No
than-
limitations.
Than you normally would.
So you can really tap into your true potential.
Okay, so we've talked about redefining work,
Mm-hmm.
finding leverage, resisting distractions, focusing on improvement and coaching yourself.
A lot of good stuff.
But at the end of the day, a lot of us are listening because we want to know how to actually create wealth.
Right. How do we get rich?
How do we get rich?
The million-dollar question.
How does all of this translate into financial success?
Yeah, does this actually work?
Does it actually work?
So one of the things he emphasizes is that true wealth creation isn't about taking shortcuts
Okay.
or chasing those get-rich-quick schemes.
No magic bullet.
No magic bullet.
It's about mastering the fundamentals,
fundamental
delivering exceptional value,
value.
and building a sustainable business.
Long-term.
Yeah, that can stand the test of time.
Not just a flash in the pan.
So it's not about making a quick buck.
It's about building something that can generate wealth for years to come.
Yeah, build something that lasts.
But how do you actually do that?
Yeah.
What are those specific actions?
Well, he talks about this idea of like doing 20 times the work to get 1,000 times the results.
Wait, 20 times the work?
Yeah.
That sounds intense.
It's about effort, for sure.
Okay.
But it's not about, burning yourself out.
Outworking yourself to the bone.
No, it's about amplifying your impact,
Okay.
creating leverage.
Okay, leverage, which we talked about.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not necessarily working 20 times more hours.
You're right.
It's about finding those levers that
Yeah.
can multiply your output
Multiply your output.
without requiring you to put in like a proportional increase in effort.
You got it.
And he gives this example.
What's the example?
I'm so curious about this.
Yeah, he's a good storyteller.
He's a great storyteller.
Like, he can really illustrate these concepts.
Yeah.
So he talks about how he can take a single action, like selling a book,
Okay.
and progressively increase its perceived value. Oh, interesting.
By layering on additional benefits and incentives.
So it's not just a book anymore.
It's not just a book.
It's like a package deal,
Yeah, it's an experience.
an experience.
So he might start by offering a book for, let's say, $1,000.
$1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, for a book.
Yeah, and initially, only a few people are interested.
Okay.
But then he starts adding more and more value to the offer.
Okay, so how does he do that?
So he might say something like, this isn't just any book. This is a bestseller that's helped thousands of people achieve incredible results.
Okay.
And if you buy it today, I'll not only autograph it for you, but I'll also include my personal cell phone number, so you can call me directly with any questions.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So he's giving them access
Access
Yeah.
to him.
to him, his expertise.
Yeah.
But does it stop there?
Oh, no, he keeps going.
Oh, wow.
He might then offer to review your sales calls, provide personalized marketing advice, connect you with his network of high-level entrepreneurs.
He's really pulling out all the stops. Yeah, or even feature you on his YouTube channel, which has millions of subscribers.
That's huge.
Yeah.
So he's taking a simple product, a book,
Yeah, a physical book,
and turning it into an irresistible offer
an irresistible offer.
by adding all these layers of benefit.
Yeah, he's creating so much value
So much value.
that it justifies that $1,000 price tag.
It's like taking a basic cup of coffee
Okay.
and turning it into a luxurious experience
Oh, I like
by adding those gourmet ingredients,
Right.
personalized service,
Right.
and an ambiance.
Yeah.
That makes you feel like royalty.
The core product might be the same,
Right.
but the perceived value is so much higher.
So much higher.
And then to really seal the deal,
What else could he possibly do?
he might offer a money-back guarantee.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, promising to refund the purchase price if you don't see a threefold return on your investment within a year.
So he's taking away all the risk.
Eliminating the risk.
Yeah.
For the buyer.
And highlighting the potential for massive returns.
Massive return.
So that's how you create leverage.
That's leverage in action.
Yeah. By consistently delivering more value than you capture.
It's a powerful concept.
But I think a lot of people might struggle with that.
Yeah.
How do you find that balance?
It's how do you not give away too much?
Yeah. Between giving away too much and not charging enough for your expertise.
Yeah, that's the sweet spot.
I feel like that's where a lot of us get tripped up.
That's where the art comes in.
Right.
Yeah.
Because if you're not charging enough,
You're undervaluing yourself.
you're undervaluing
Right.
yourself.
You're leaving money on the table.
And if you're charging too much,
You're not going to get any clients.
nobody's going to buy.
Right.
So how do you find that balance?
Well, that's a great question, and it's something we'll delve into further in the final part of our deep dive.
Okay, I'm excited to hear more about that.
Yeah, we'll explore how to identify your unique value proposition package, your offers, in a way that maximizes their perceived value and create those win-win scenarios where both you and your customers benefit from the exchange.
Okay, so we've been breaking down Hormozi's ideas
Yeah.
on work leverage and those distractions.
To women in red dresses.
Right.
Yeah.
But how do we actually apply this?
Right. How do we create that wealth?
Yeah, how do we turn these concepts into concrete actions?
Yeah, because it's easy to get caught up in the theory
It is.
and the ideas.
But how do we actually make this work in our lives?
Put it into practice.
And one of the things that I really liked about his approach
Yeah.
is it's not about finding a magic formula.
Right.
Or a secret shortcut.
No get-rich-quick scheme.
No.
It's more about mastering those fundamentals.
Fundamentals.
Yeah.
And consistently delivering value.
Right.
Giving people what they want.
And that ultimately builds trust.
Trust is key.
Yeah.
It's the foundation.
Yeah.
And leads to that long-term success.
Right. Not just a quick win.
So it's less about hacking the system
Yeah.
and more about building that solid foundation.
Yeah. You got to have a strong base.
Based on genuine expertise.
Expertise.
Yeah.
Knowing
Yeah.
what you're talking about.
And a commitment to serving your customers.
Yeah. Putting them first.
So it sounds like it's not about chasing the money,
No.
but creating something that makes a real difference.
Right. Making an impact.
But where do we even start?
Yeah. That's the question.
There are so many different paths.
So many options.
So many skills you could learn.
How do you choose?
Yeah. How do you choose the right one?
Well, I think that's where that self-coaching model comes in.
Oh, yeah. The self-coaching model.
That we talked about.
Asking yourself those tough questions.
Yeah,
Really
yeah.
reflecting
On your strength.
your passions.
Yeah. What are you good at?
Yeah. And those areas where you see potential for growth
Yeah. Where can you excel?
and not being afraid to experiment,
Experiment.
trying different things,
See what works.
see what resonates,
What do you enjoy?
and being willing to adjust course
Yeah.
along the way.
Be flexible.
It's not about getting everything perfect
No,
right out of the gate.
it's a process.
It's about having that courage to start
Just start somewhere.
and then be open to learning and adapting.
The journey is part of the fun.
And even if you choose the right path,
Right.
there are going to be challenges and setbacks.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's inevitable.
part of the game.
That's all part of the journey.
Right.
And those moments of adversity,
Yeah.
I think they really test us.
They test your resilience.
And they force us to grow.
You come out stronger.
It's like that saying,
What's that?
the obstacle is the way.
I love that one.
Yeah. Sometimes those challenges are actually the things that push us in the right direction
Yeah, they reveal the path.
and help us discover our true potential.
You find out what you're made of.
And Hormozi has an interesting perspective on failure.
What does he say?
He actually believes that true failure is pretty rare.
Really?
Yeah. He thinks that more often than not, what we perceive as failure is just like a lack of commitment
Oh, interesting.
or a willingness to give up too soon.
So we just quit too early.
We quit too early.
We don't give it our all.
Yeah.
We give up before we've even really started.
And he goes so far as to say that success becomes almost inevitable
Inevitable.
when you dedicate yourself fully to something
Okay.
for like an extended period of time.
So you're all in.
Yeah.
You're committed.
He's saying that you just become so good at it
Yeah, okay.
that failure becomes like unreasonable.
Wow. I like that.
But how do you stay motivated?
Yeah.
Especially when you're in it for the long haul.
Right, because it's a marathon, not a sprint.
It is a marathon.
Yeah.
Like, how do you avoid getting bored or complacent?
You got to keep that fire burning.
I think one of the keys is to choose something that you're genuinely passionate about.
Yeah. Something that lights you up.
When you love what you do, it doesn't feel like work.
It's a joy.
It feels like a calling and mission.
Something you're meant to do.
And reminds me of this idea of flow state.
Oh, yeah. Flow state.
That feeling of being so engrossed in what you're doing
Yeah.
that you lose track of time.
Time flies.
Yeah, and everything else just melts away.
You're in the zone.
You're in the zone.
Yeah.
And I think when you're in that flow state,
Yeah.
not only are you more productive,
Uh-huh.
but you're also more creative.
The ideas just flow.
It's like your brain is firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, all systems go.
And you're tapping into this level of focus and creativity
Yeah, you're unstoppable.
that you wouldn't normally have access to.
It's like a superpower.
And the more time you spend in that flow state,
Yeah.
the more likely you are to have those like breakthrough moments
Those aha moments
that lead to massive success.
that change the game.
And that ties back to leverage,
Right. Leverage is key.
which we talked about earlier. Yeah.
How do we create more of it?
Yeah. How do you actually create leverage in your business or your career?
Well, one of the most effective ways is to build systems
Systems.
that allow you to scale your efforts
Right.
without you having to personally do more work.
Okay. So what would that look like?
Let's say you're a consultant
Okay.
who helps businesses with their marketing.
Right.
Instead of meeting with each client individually,
Yeah.
you could create a course
A course.
or a workshop
Yeah.
that teaches the same principles in a group setting.
So you're reaching more people,
More people, more impact.
but not increasing your time commitment.
Exactly.
So it's about finding ways to automate or delegate tasks that don't require your unique skills.
Right. You don't have to do everything yourself.
Yeah, like what can you get off your plate?
Free up your time.
And as you build those systems, you can increase your prices
Charge a premium.
and command a higher premium for those services that only you can provide.
Yeah. Because you're the expert.
So it becomes this like virtuous cycle
yeah.
of increased leverage, higher value creation, and greater financial rewards.
It all comes together.
But what about those of us who are just starting out?
Right. You're just getting started.
Yeah, like we don't have a huge audience or a ton of experience.
No track record yet.
How do we create leverage when we're still building
Yeah. Good question.
our business or our brand?
Well, one of the things Hormozi emphasizes is the importance of building relationships
A relationship.
and
Yeah.
leveraging the networks of others.
So collaborating with people,
Collaborating.
partnering with people who already have that audience.
The audience, the connections
Yeah.
that you're lacking.
It's about finding those win-win scenarios
Yin and win. Yeah.
where you can provide value to someone else
Right.
while also gaining access to their resources or connections.
You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours.
That's so smart.
It's a smart strategy.
Especially when you're just starting out.
Yeah.
That's like borrowing someone else's ladder
I like that analogy.
to reach that next rung on the success ladder.
Climb higher.
And it's not just about networking.
No,
There you
it's
go.
about building genuine connections.
Yeah.
Offering support.
Supporting others.
Being a valuable resource.
Yeah, being a good human.
Yeah, exactly.
Giving more than you take.
Give more than you take.
And focusing on those long-term relationships
Right.
that are mutually beneficial.
It's a two-way street.
So those relationships could become incredibly valuable assets.
Yeah, your network is your net worth.
Over time,
The doors will open.
and open doors to opportunities that you might never have even imagined.
It's true.
Okay, so we've covered a lot today.
Yeah.
We've talked about redefining work, finding leverage, resisting distractions, mastering the fundamentals,
Lots of good stuff.
and building those lasting relationships.
Relationships are key.
But what's like the one piece of advice
Okay.
that you would give to someone who is like serious
Yeah.
about creating wealth
You're right.
and building a successful business?
If I had to boil it down to one thing,
Yeah.
it would be to focus on delivering exceptional value.
Value, value, value.
Value is everything.
So it's not about chasing the money.
No.
It's about creating something that makes a difference in the world.
You're right. Leave your mark.
When you're focused on providing that value, the money will follow.
It will come.
And you're building a legacy
Yeah.
that goes beyond just financial success.
Right. Something to be proud of.
You're making a real impact
A positive impact.
and leaving the world a better place.
Make the world a better place.
And it doesn't have to be complicated.
No, keep it simple.
It can be as simple as offering a product or service that solves a problem
Solves a problem.
for your customers.
Yeah. Make their lives easier.
Or sharing your knowledge and expertise.
Help others.
Yeah. Or just making someone's day a little bit brighter.
Spread some joy.
It's about finding those small ways to make a difference
So little things add up.
and then doing them consistently,
Consistent.
day after day, year after year.
That's the key.
Okay, so to wrap things up,
Yeah.
it sounds like achieving those audacious goals really starts with shifting our mindset.
Mindset is everything.
It's not about working harder. It's about working smarter.
Work smarter, not harder.
It's not about chasing every shiny object.
No, stay focused.
It's about focusing on that path that truly resonates with you.
Yeah. Find your purpose.
And most importantly, it's not about obsessing over the outcome.
Right.
It's about enjoying the journey
Enjoy the ride.
and making a positive impact along the way.
Your legacy.
So take that first step,
Just start.
embrace the challenge,
Don't be afraid to fail.
and watch as your efforts compound
Yeah.
into something truly extraordinary.
You got this.